Hey guys, welcome back to the Fair Dinkum podcast. Today we had the long-awaited marriage episode part 2. This one's been 2 years in the making. Alhamdulillah, one of the main things people said in the first episode was someone wasn't married. Now we had one member, myself, married for over a year, so it's good to have a different opinion. We got to chat about all four of us, how we all have different perspectives on what a relationship is, marriage, how to get married, what are the non-negotiables. There were so many takeaways, so many interesting difference of opinions. You guys are going to love this episode. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe. And enjoy.
Because that's when you're kind of teetering on the youth status.
Do you reckon? Yeah, go finish. Sorry.
Like, yeah, bro. If her whole account is her, how beautiful she is, and the world agreeing with her, and she's basically making money or earning a living off of how she looks or what assets she has, then yeah, bro. No, we're not. I don't want to talk for everyone here, but I think we're all on the same page, right?
It doesn't seem like Willie is.
No. Like as Sue said, we're all on the same page, and you had to affirm.
No, I have to affirm. I can't talk for everyone.
Fair Dinkum.
Okay, boys. Who's the most likely? I said it.
Who's next in line to get married?
Who's next in line to get married? I have a vote, and I have a reason to back it up. Why I reckon this person's next.
Okay.
My vote is my man Seuss. I'll tell you why. All right. Seuss, formerly, who goes by the name of Sohail. I won't say your last name because that's like full Gavi. Yeah.
It's on LinkedIn.
Hey, but I'm not looking. You can't tell how my face is that way.
Okay, so Seuss, attended a nikah today, a wedding. All right, that's one thing. That doesn't mean he's necessarily getting married or anything, yeah? But after this nikah, he rocks up to the studio. Right hand out, my right hand goes in naturally. You know what I mean? Formerly known as a handshake, correct? Yeah?
Bro, that's the worst description of a handshake.
Anyway, Seuss has something interesting on one of his fingers, which is what?
It's a ring.
A ring. Seuss don't wear rings.
I do.
No, you don't.
It's true.
I've never seen you wear a ring before. Have you guys seen you wear a ring before?
Never. It stood out to me today too.
Bro, I bought this in Granada, bro. It's like 4 or 5 years ago.
Mashallah.
And now you're wearing it.
Bro, well, it's gone off in the door for anyone.
And maybe you wanted to today,
What?
I don't know, show people that it's not on the right finger, which means you're pretty much saying I'm not married.
And
Sometimes when people don't wear a ring, you just forget the ring. Like I forget to wear my ring a lot, but when you wear it on the wrong finger, everyone knows you're 100%
It
single.
was a deep
yeah,
too
but then
hard.
also, guess what? It's also like, at least it's on my hand. Like it's not sitting around. So when did you buy it 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you went to Granada. I remember that trip. It's like, I remember this, like the sunset, you're on the top of the castle, that vibe, you remember?
Uh-huh.
You weren't wearing the ring then either, just saying, okay?
I
So
bought
it's-
it after that picture.
You bought it after the picture, okay? And since then, where has it been? Sitting
My car.
somewhere, in the car somewhere, okay? So at least it's made it out of the car onto the hand. And one day, it'll make it off that pinky finger.
Inshallah. That's a heavy analysis for nothing. Wallah.
You reckon?
100%.
I thought I was onto something there.
Bro, you guys would know.
A
I
little
would tell
bit.
you guys. I wouldn't hide it.
Okay, so why have you been wearing the ring recently?
I haven't. I just like my first time. I was like, you know what? I found it in my car. I was like,
It's like a good
Let's
might as well chuck it
Can we
back
see
on.
if someone gets double votes, like for most likely to get married next? So
Yeah.
Legendary's thing is Seuss. How about you, Seuss? Who do you think?
I reckon
like-
Ali.
Okay. Ali's going to
Why
get
you
Seuss to get
blushing?
double
I vote
votes.
myself, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And the Willie's not. Alright.
It would be too defensive if he went straight to Willie. He can't vote himself.
No,
You're
no.
out of it, so it's
I
straight
played
to
Mafia
me.
before, cuz.
But technically, he's not out of it either. Are we not allowed to make this joke?
Nah, too early, bro.
Yeah.
At least not next. True?
Yeah, for a while.
Hey,
Yeah.
bro, you're going to get in trouble for it. Don't dig
Ah,
yourself up.
Let's go.
Well, my vote, I'll say Seuss, man.
Yeah, so Sue's got a
Seuss
double
is-
vote. Yeah.
He's not going to vote for himself. You're not going to vote for yourself. And it can't be Ashraf.
Okay, but I gave a reasoning as to why Seuss is next. Do you have Loki a reasoning?
Well, you go for it first, and I'll see if it's the same. Yeah.
He's already said it.
I said it for 5 minutes.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
no, like, what was it
my
for the past 5
one
minutes?
was the ring analogy. Do you get it?
Maybe it's just the age thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the age thing.
You and Seuss are only a couple of months apart.
Yeah, he's older though, so that's all that matters. Yeah.
I have to get married now. A couple months different.
Okay, so why wasn't I voted then? Like, am I down bad or something?
You still got some time, bro.
Okay, yeah.
I
Yeah.
reckon Wally could get married first.
Is there much pressure from you guys in your cultures and your family? Like, this time, coming to this time, like mid-20s, getting much pressure from your parents? Or even not just your parents, just like people kind of hinting in conversations, because it does happen occasionally. But then some can just be jokes from the boys, but then obviously you get the uncles that like hint it too often.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this is a bit serious.
I think no pressure per se. I think because guys, when you're a guy, it's a bit different. You know what I mean? Like, there's no low-key like clock expiring or nothing like that. Do you get what I mean? But there might be that pressure of like, do you want to like, I guess, so-called start your life? You know what I mean? But I don't know. Somali culture is very laid back. You know, like it's just like whenever the guy gets married, he gets married. You know what I mean? But culture is technically, traditionally, like you get married like younger. You know, personally, me speaking, nah, I have no pressure whatsoever. Like. And funnily enough, I've never actually like pondered over the like idea of marriage. Obviously, at one point, inshallah, I do want to get married, but I feel like once you start pondering over the idea, you actually like go like 2 feet in.
When you were
as a married man, would you agree?
So I was thinking of my question.
Okay, yeah.
When you were like 18, so I'm just gonna ask.
So you're gonna answer like my question?
You can repeat it in a second. When you were like 18, finishing school, what age did you think you were gonna get married?
25.
Okay.
I felt like 25.
Just so I know, 'cause some people think early, some late. Yeah.
I feel like 25 is the ideal age everyone says.
And how old are you now?
Me, not far from 25.
It's next year.
Not too far from 25. But my question was, like, once you start pondering over the idea of marriage, do you agree that like you go 2 feet in type of thing? Because no one says, okay, I'm gonna get married, and then they're like, unless maybe people do.
Look, some people try too hard to get married, and then it doesn't work out. You know what I mean? Like they ask every single girl at the MSA.
MSA brothers,
and it doesn't work out. Yeah. Some people, like, a lot of people, they didn't intend to get married, and alhamdulillah, Allah put the person in front of them and they ended up getting married. Yeah. That's at least the more common route that I see. Yeah. Like most people say, or at least not publicly, I'm not interested in getting married, or I'm not looking, and then Allah's the best of all planners, you put it in the right time. And I think that's for most cases, bro. Like for a young guy, really you should be like striving towards, you know, getting that job, getting that, you know, being ready for marriage, and then Allah will put it at the right place. You got to look at the same time. Like, it's that healthy balance, you know? And that's where early 20s, mid-20s is kind of ideal for that, you know?
Yeah, but like when we turn 18, we always think, you know, I'm mature enough. When I'm 21, I'm definitely going to be the most mature I can possibly be to get married. And then you hit 21, you're like, damn, I don't have no clue, bro. I'm actually dumb. Yeah. And then you go, you know what, 25 would probably be the peak. That's be the time that I would actually have everything that I need to have. I'm talking about internally. Have all of my what do they call it? Eggs in a row? No, not eggs in a row. What's it called?
Eggs in a basket.
No, don't worry about it. It's crap
analogy. It just means like everything in order.
Everything.
That's what that's what it's saying.
In order for me, and then you go, okay, well, I'm 25 and I'm still dumb. Nothing's ready for me yet. And then you're like, now I'm 27, and I kind of sit there and I go, I feel like everything that in the past I thought I wasn't.
Did you think you were going to get married early? Like when you were...
Yeah, when I was young, 100%.
You thought like early 20s?
Lebanese, bro, 22.
Yeah. No, I was
supposed to have kids by then,
When I was 18, I thought, you know what, bro, I'm so mature for my age. When I hit 21, I'm going to be a Yoda on earth, bro. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. For me, it's all about living and then growing up and learning and getting smarter as you get older.
True.
And that's what I mean when I was saying earlier, when you're 18, you think that you're so wise for your age and you think you already know everything you need to know. Then you hit 21 and you get a reality check. You're like, hang on, I'm really not that smart. I still don't know everything. And then, you know, by 25, like, and I would have everything in the bag. Because obviously sometimes some people are forced to grow up earlier because of situations that occur in their life. Trauma, you know. Beyond trauma, you got also like life experiences, circumstances in your life where it kind of forces you to grow up earlier, or it forces you to become a certain man earlier. And
because you don't even need to be 18, because like even within a year span you can look back and then be like, damn, like I'm not like you're a whole new person, but like why was I making those like type of decisions then? Bro, you know what I mean? If like we could probably reflect on 2023. We didn't have probably the same mentality, or we had a different view on certain things than compared to now.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Look, this is the thing. I believe it just takes one circumstance for you to change your whole perspective on life, or your whole perspective on something. It just takes you crossing the right person, or the right circumstance to hit you in your life in order for you to be able to be shaken up enough for you to change either for the better or for the worst. So there's I don't know if you've heard, I think it's what's his name, Tony Robbins?
Yeah.
Tony Robbins was like,
That
when you
geezer,
hit
yeah.
a certain age in life, the only thing that causes major change in a person's life would be either trauma, so like a massive death in the family, or like a loved one passing away, or someone getting diagnosed with cancer, either that or a real conscious effort. So you have to actually put in that conscious effort to make the change in order for you to grow up, or to grow up in a certain facet of your life. And bro, I kind of noticed myself this year especially falling into a bit of autopilot, and wasn't changing too much, wasn't actually growing, and it's got an element of comfortability to it. I think that's probably one thing. And then there's also being too content with where you're at, and not having basically a growth mindset.
Complacency, yeah, is a killer.
So yeah, bro, if you're open to learning and to getting better, and if you're open to actually becoming better than you are yesterday, then you're gonna always have opportunities to learn. Allah doesn't withhold those circumstances from us. Every day you actually have opportunities, and these aren't coincidences. They're actually given to us, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is gonna ask us about them in the hereafter when we die. Like, I gave you A, B, and C situations, and you didn't make the most of them, or you didn't grow, or you didn't change, you didn't move, or you didn't get better. So you can't make excuses, bro. It's all about your perspective, and that's it. Is that the answer you wanted to hear, or do you need me to go more traumatic?
This guy asked the question for death. But I wanted to touch on the marriage, but marrying early and stuff like that. Just, did you think as well that you'd be, when you were finishing school, like you wanted to get married young, like you had that mindset as well?
I never really thought about it. It was honestly, it never crossed my mind. But I remember when we were overseas, so I was 20 years old, when we were traveling for a year. I remember there was lots of times, because I was overseas, I was finally like living on my own without my parents. It's like that independence. And that's where, like you're saying, you think a lot about yourself. And maybe I thought in that moment where it's like, wow, like I'm actually doing big things at a young age. Like I could probably get married soon. And that's where it started to hit. And I remember even an instant where I was actually in Mecca with Ashraf in Ramadan. And I was just like getting homesick. And I was thinking, man, what am I doing here? Like, I want to go home. I want to make some money, get married. And I think, I don't know if it's for other brothers as well, but I know times when you go through, I would say, Iman high, and you're practicing more, you're doing more things, and it's like you think about marriage maybe too often, or you think about it like almost every day. It's like, I want to get married, I want to get married. Like I've had phases over my 20s going through those. And I don't know if that's like a common thing, but would you say?
Well, not for me at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. What, think about marriage 3 times a day?
No, not that often, bro.
I think
like
it happens.
It takes over your week. Like you're not as ambitious with other things.
You know why? Because I feel like for me, in order for me to think about marriage, I have to think about it with a girl, which is obvious, obviously, to you because you want to get married to a girl. I hope so.
Yeah.
But like if there's no girl in the picture, then I can't I don't know.
I think it's an overseas thing. Because like I remember when we were going overseas, like the second time we came back for a month, and then we're going back, and I remember speaking with Abu, who was at Egypt at the time, before Medina, and when I was speaking with Abu, he pretty much said like, when you go study and you study overseas and stuff and you're away from distractions, shaitan, one of the tests he tries to do is like distract you with marriage and that fantasy. It's like, why am I here? I should go back and get married. It's like, it's a distraction away from the knowledge. And one of the worst things you can do at that time is just keep listening to marriage lectures. Because obviously you're thinking, oh, it's beneficial. I'm listening, I'm learning the rights and stuff like that. But all it's going to do is make you want it more and stuff. So he goes, you're only there for 6 more months, focus on your Arabic, focus on your Quran. When you get back, you can do all the marriage lectures and think about all you want. But don't distract you when you're trying to do 100% of that. So I think it's more of an overseas thing.
It is overseas.
Unless you're hardcore MSA, then it's a marriage is life.
Yeah. Like, even when you're not traveling, then you're...
Yeah.
No, it's not a common thing to you guys?
Have you clocked that though? Like the girls that we see here, and we think that
they're
not our type, or then like they're not an option for us. That somebody from overseas could come here, who's probably in a better position than you, maybe better looking than you, whatever. Finds that girl and goes, "Wow, she's so exotic, she's so different."
It's with half the brothers here when they go marry interstate and stuff. They marry someone from interstate, they go to Perth, they go to Brisbane, and they say the girls are better in Perth. And then you go to Perth and you ask the brothers, they say the girls are better in Melbourne. It's because you
A
don't
lot of
know
brothers had said
you don't
that.
know the inside information. You don't know them growing up. You don't know them from the Islamic school. So a lot of people have a different perspective when you're not in it, and they look at different things. At least that's what I've seen.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
he
funny.
said a bit different though. Like when you're overseas, they're completely different though.
No, like for example, yeah, I'll give you an example. Someone recently came here from overseas,
Yeah.
from the UK, and he saw.
UK.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Have you seen those memes on TikTok? I'm not gonna say it. Don't worry about it. But anyways, he came down from overseas, obviously, one of someone that I know, and he's like, bro, the girls in Australia are a lot better than the ones that are in the UK, and I started laughing because I'm like, well, what do you mean, bro? Isn't there more girls in the UK than there are here? And to us, I'm like, bro, the British accent probably adds a little bit of spice for us here in Australia, yeah? And then he goes, nah, bro, the Australian accent's amazing. And we're like, bro, we're just stuck in this constant back and forth, bro. And you don't even, bro, the funny thing is that I was actually deep in this the other day. Like, nobody's actually really that special, bro.
Yeah.
None of us are actually that
It's
special,
like
bro.
a certain nationality. For example, you say, "Oh, you like Indonesian girl," and you're like, "Oh man, you know, she's not from here." Then you go to Indonesia, and it's normal. It's the certain nationalities. Like you literally go to that country, and they're the most normal person. No one cares that you're whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I think having a fantasy for a nationality is quite strange. Like, you know, like if someone says, hey,
What about the Queens?
I like, that's my people though. That's like,
It's bias, yeah.
yeah, that's just a bias. That's all I know type of thing. But like for someone to say like, hey, I only like, let's just say like I'm Somali, yeah? And I say, hey, I just love Moroccan girls.
Hmm.
Do you get what I mean? Like that's like kind of like wild to me. You know what I mean?
As in, if you're only fixated on one nationality.
One nationality that's not your own. Like I understand, like if it's your own nationality, because that's who you've grown up with, your family, the mother, the household, all that kind of stuff. But for another one, just because of like, I don't know, it's borderline like when people say, "Hey, I just like black girls." Do you get what I mean? Or I like short.
Like having only one type.
Yeah, and it's very specific.
One option, yeah.
it's
Where do you
like
think it comes from?
fantasy? You go, you
Yeah.
spend
Like
too much
the
time
idea.
alone. Like go out, touch some grass. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, interesting. But do you think it's a problem to have a type? Because, like, for example, if someone says that I
Nah.
like, for example, black people or I like short girls or whatever, like, that's just having a type. But if the guys, you know,
No, but when you're not that like specific group of people,
I was in like, if I'm a,
Way
Like-
too specific.
if I'm an
Yeah.
Arab and I say I'm only into black girls, or
yeah,
something like
but
that.
then it's like also like black girls this height, and it's just like
But do you know people like that?
It's not.
Yeah.
It's actually very. It's actually it's very common. Because a lot of people, it's just like it's a fantasy, you know.
yeah. But also having certain traits about a certain person that you find attractive and you want to pursue in marriage, there's nothing wrong with that. Do you go to in purpose? Like it's beauty subjective, you know. But when you fantasize over it, and
Then it's also putting like your options are obviously limited then, because then you could be waiting forever and you won't get what you're looking for. Like for example, like a certain nationality, because maybe in the community there's not many of those people in Melbourne,
yeah.
so it's like the chances of actually getting married and find that person.
I think it's supply and demand. That's what it is. You know, when things are like in low like quantities and stuff, they come across a bit more exotic and all that kind of stuff. You know, you'll find that with certain like
Do you guys have a type?
yeah.
Like, as in,
He went on a rant, basically slandering
but he goes, it's my culture, so I'm allowed to have it. Because it's a thing where I've realized with some brothers go, I would never marry, X nationality. Like I've never marry, can I say a nationality? I'll say, I'll say, because of my own nationality. For example, I'll say,
Somalis,
no, I never marry a Lebanese girl. Yeah, someone says that. It's like a lot of times what happens is they have a image of what Lebanese girls are, and they meet someone who doesn't maybe fit, for example, even the looks or the adab or whatever of what they think Lebanese people are. Like, damn, I really like that girl. It's like, she's Lebanese. And a lot of times people actually disregard a whole nation, people, group because of what they think it is. But there's always that one family that might suit your needs, or one, person.
That's true.
Because even siblings are different.
Yeah.
Like you look at, certain siblings. Yeah, it's like, oh, I know I don't want Lebanese, and then you meet Ali, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
he doesn't look like Sahel, so it's alright.
That's a violent-
I'm half.
Yeah.
No, but that's even like that's even like attraction as well. Like we know some people in our family, or like even just friends that apparently when they were younger, they said, "Oh, I'm not going to marry this nationality. I don't want like to even like consider them." And then you look at today, they're actually married to that nationality.
Yeah.
So like sometimes you just never know. Like to cancel out certain nationalities or even types of people, you have to give it at least a chance to, or at least be open. That's where it starts off, basically.
You have to be open.
Yeah, in general, I would say, because you could be surprised, like the people we know that got married to these nationalities.
Yeah.
But you said you got one type only, yeah, like
like what type of person? Yeah,
yeah,
like
type of
culture.
person, yeah.
There's nothing wrong, even
Nothing
if you're
wrong with
most likely going to marry one nationality, you could still just, because even sometimes the comments can be a bit offensive. Like
what?
as in, for example, if, I'm going to marry, like, or just keep using the Lebanese girl.
Yeah.
I want to marry a Lebanese girl. And then you say, Lebanese girls aren't my type. They, for example, they're X, Y, and Z. They're like
Yeah.
this. Sometimes the guy might start feeling bad, like, my wife's actually not like that, but do people think that? So you're kind of like saying, I would not marry a girl that you'd marry. So maybe it's better if, you
But
try
I
to
wouldn't
avoid
say
it.
I wouldn't necessarily like single out like a nationality
Yeah.
or whatever, But like, I'm more persistent on one nationality, if that makes sense. Like, there's nothing per se wrong with like A, B, or C, But it's just this one is just more like favorable to me. You know what I mean? I actually find it quite interesting that people, realize like it's very normal. Yeah, I thought it used to be with people like mixed parents and stuff, people that would marry outside their culture, because I thought people that come from like a two-parent household, obviously with the same culture, then they'll go and try and like marry that culture. You know what I mean? But then I realized
Strengthen it.
yeah, then I
As
realized
in
it's probably a Somali thing as well.
I think
You know
as
what I
long as it's not two different religions, I think it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
I think all this,
Would you marry a Christian?
nah, no chance.
Yeah,
No,
well,
like you wouldn't even try?
No. You see too much of the kids that actually grow up in a mixed religion household or like
But I reckon you
Christian
have it in
and-
you to like drill it down in the kid.
nah.
Nah? Okay.
The mums is more influential in the life of the children.
That
bro.
is true.
They're gonna be there more. They're gonna see her more. They're gonna obviously see her as she's gonna be the parent that's on the front line more than the man is, because the man's gonna be out working doing his thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro. For me, I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of our issues stem from ignorance, bro. We just need to open our minds a little bit more to figure out that at the end of the day, human beings in general, we're not just talking religious or cultural, human beings in general, they all have the same makeup of wants, needs, and desires, bro. Like we all have similar, especially if you're Muslim, you have similar morals and values. Everybody wants their kid to be, the best religiously they possibly can, and the corners of their eyes, as the shuyukh like to say, they want their kid to grow up and to become a model citizen or role model for other people or other kids in, the ones that are coming up after them. And for me, bro, like, regardless of my kids are half Turkish, half Chinese, half, whatever you want to say, bro.
What would you like him to be?
I don't mind. I don't mind. For me, bro, I'm open. Do you know what I mean?
Anything that comes my way, yeah?
What? No, not
No,
even
not
that.
like that. Actually, that's actually crazy.
But no, bro, it's like I don't close my mind to anything. I allow things to happen now. I feel like that's a part of the growth that I've had over the past 5-10 years. Is the fact that when you try to force something too much, the only way is either it breaks or it's
true,
or
yeah.
you kind of like you have a very rigid base in your life. And the way I live or the way I like to live, rigidity is not an option. It's not something that I look for. It's not something that I enjoy. I understand that schedules are good and then obviously living within a certain discipline, certain amount of discipline, obviously religiously with your salah and your siyam and all that kind of stuff. It's important, but I feel like in other facets, it's interesting to kind of just expand your horizons a little bit and,
How you measuring fitness?
I'm measuring their lifestyle, what they do,
Gotcha.
how they spend their time. So like, and who they're spending their time with, the people around them. And also family is a big deal as well in the household, what they're doing. And that's for me, it's because it's a big deal in my lifestyle, that's what I want in my household for the future, even with my kids, because my kids are going to be influenced by obviously myself and my spouse, and that's a big deal for me.
What about me?
Like, what do you consider like important things to look at? like this can be in general as well. Like
For me, it's just deen, bro. That's
just deen.
just plain and simple, bro.
I'll tell
So
you,
let's
bro.
say
I'll
she's-
tell you, bro. That's not enough at all as a non-negotiable.
Thank
Like, even this as 4, like you should have 10.
I
And
do
it-
have.
and it
I
should be-
do-
it
I
should
have
be-
a lot.
There should be more specific things like deen. Okay, to what level does that mean? You know, like
No, tell me.
for example, someone goes, "Oh, deen, taqwa." It's like, okay, do you care if she's a hijabi or not? Do you care if she goes to classes or not? Do you care if she does community service or not? Okay, deen, does she listen to music? Do you care about that? Do you care about what she wears? Like, there's so much more to it, and you actually have to get specific with certain things. And then it goes to the next level. It's like, okay, how about studying? How about, is she a feminist? Like, does she have more feminist views? Does she want to have this? And then, like, there's actually a lot to it.
I
And
feel like if you put it underneath one umbrella, yeah, and you say, and this is something that is kind of like, I think it's pretty well known in the Lebanese community, is ما بتخاف Allah, ما بتخافك أنت. You know what that means? If she doesn't fear Allah, she's not gonna, like, if she doesn't fear God and His opinion of her, then how is she gonna fear what she does to you and your opinion of her? Does that make sense? So, for us, just in general, bro, like, I feel like the deen is pretty well set. It's and it's. I was having a laugh about this the other day, actually. You know how psychology keeps bringing up these new methods, and you know how the way, like, you listen to some of these guys, they talk about gratitude and counting your blessings as somewhat of a psychological breakthrough in life, and that we've figured it out. But how long ago did we already know about this? Do you know what I mean? And the deen kind of already has everything set. The hikmah is already there, but it takes picking from the people to dig and to understand the deen a little bit more and in depth for us to kind of go, hang on a second, there's a lot of hikmah there. And even when you dig and you find some hikmah, there's actually more and more and more and more and more. So when I say deen is the most important thing, for me, that what you just said there all falls under that umbrella. There's certain things that I don't agree with, like girls and guys being friends. That's something
that's a non-negotiable.
that's a
That's
non-negotiable
yeah.
for me.
Is there a reason why?
It doesn't. I don't believe it exists, bro.
Mm.
I don't believe it exists. I think that anybody who believes is an idealist. They just, I don't know what world or universe they live
Yeah.
on, bro.
Mm.
But I don't know any guy that believes that. Do you believe it? Well, I don't.
No, no.
I reckon it's
How about like a non-negotiable, like willingness to cook and clean and provide for you in the house and stuff? Because sometimes it's not like some girls weren't in the house, like, alhamdulillah, the mum did that kind of stuff, or the older siblings, and they didn't learn how to. But it's more about the mindset, like, because some girls like, I'm not going to do that. So is that a non-negotiable? Like, you or really want to marry someone that says, I'm willing to do that?
So for me, I grew up in a household. My mum took care of everything, and my dad obviously worked. Yeah. When I look at it the way it was, I go, hang on a sec. Mum needed a hand in what she was doing, but obviously culture didn't allow for that to occur. So for me, it's like there should be a shared effort on both sides, especially if the girl's working, and if she's not working and she still needs a help, bro, help her. Do you know what I mean? It's a team effort. It's not me and her, and then we have this line in the sand, and there's shared responsibilities and blah blah blah. Although I do believe there are certain things that a man has to provide for a woman, no questions asked, shelter, food, water, clothes on their backs, that kind of stuff is all on the guy. But when it comes to the woman, obviously there's a saying in our deen where they talk about mawadda wa rahma. You work with one another through love and care, and you are, what do they call it when it's like
Cloaks, or like your
cloaks on
garments
one
over
another?
each other, yeah.
Exactly. So you beautify and protect the other person. So that's how I see it. When I look at these kinds of things, if I look at it through any lens besides the deen, I feel like we're gonna fail. So that's why when I say the deen is the most important thing, is that when I come to bring something up in a conversation with the person that I'm marrying, it's like I don't have to explain it to you further than in the deen A, B, and C. Yeah? I'm not talking about weaponizing the deen. Like I usually get those guys who say, الرجال قوامون على النساء, and they kind of use that to weaponize it and say that means that you're below my feet. And I do, no. It's like, get your facts straight, and then use the Quran and the Sunnah to kind of like formulate a relationship based off of what has already been set in principle.
That's interesting because obviously, like,
Bro.
it's something obviously we agree. Deen is like number one when you're looking for a spouse. But I feel like there's some things like you as well you would look for specifically that might be different to other people. So I have a question for you guys. I want to know, would you guys consider meeting and getting to know someone that has a social media presence, or like is very well known on like YouTube and like the internet? Because even let's say Dean wise, they are actually like that. Their page is mostly Dean spreading knowledge, and like they're connecting obviously the inspiration for the sisters, and of course you see good intentions. But is that what you want? Do you think that's healthy long term?
Wait, I want to clarify social media presence. We're talking like
He said they're spreading
like
no, but
personal
what
brand.
we're talking like we're talking numbers, yeah. Like is she like a public account?
Of course, personal brand. Yeah,
Okay, so she's got a personal brand.
she's like a public figure. Yeah.
And how many Ks?
So for you, it's the numbers.
Yeah,
Okay, tell me.
Personally, I don't mind. While I work, like if she's like online, if she's not online, whatever. If she carries herself in a good manner, then I guess so. Like it's like not that deep, you know what I mean? But then also that's a very like premature thought. Like that's me now. You get what I mean? Maybe when I'm married and all that kind of stuff, those conversations like sort of like might change. But I won't disregard the girl just because of the fact that like she's got like a social media account. If she's not like dancing to Drake on TikTok, then I'm calm. You know what I mean? So yeah.
What about J. Cole?
Tough one.
Tough one. But happy that I'm joking.
What do you reckon, Ali? You know?
It's a tough one. Because I get what you mean. Because even at the same time, I hear, because obviously it comes up with the brothers, conversations, people saying this and that. Because I even hear people say like, oh, like how can people have their wife on social media? How can they be showing like their face? This is on like their profile. Let alone having like your spouse having a big profile herself, everyone knowing her by like her full name and stuff. For me, personally, it kind of depends on how the social media is presented. Like, so I've seen, of course, like now there's been developing a more accounts, people like showing Islamic things, right? There's actually other accounts that people do without showing their face. There's people on the other side where they're taking a bit too many selfies and like, you know, wanting extra attention without them realizing extra likes.
So that's a red flag, that one there?
So that's what I mean. It depends. It really comes down to how they approach the scenario. Because you can easily say like, oh, I'm posting because, you know, I'm very active in the gym, but then I'm still wearing modest clothing, but then, you know, she's showing too much. So then that for me, that's maybe too, not for me.
Yeah, out there like
especially like active lifestyle. It doesn't need to be shown.
Do you guys think that is like, you know, out of the fear of not wanting to look like a Dayouth? Yeah, that's a lot of men. Yeah, they actually struggle with that. They want to make sure that they don't look like a Dayouth in the community, or even within their own family. Yeah. So do you feel like a lot of it stems from the ego of the man, or do you actually believe that there's some religious implications at play when you're talking about having a social media presence?
I reckon it's a lot with the ego, really, because I know people can talk, and you know, you see it at times. People talk about like, you know, why is his sister like so active? Why is she showing so much? Imagine if you're related to that person, even if it was like your sister or cousin. If someone spoke about them, how would you react that way? You might feel like that, like you're a bit of a weaker person, and it's not easy to really think about.
No one wants to be seen as a Dayouth, let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
100%.
Because people talk, bro.
Even beyond people, bro. Even you'll know yourself. If you can't look at yourself in the mirror and you look at yourself, you're going, bro, you're a Dayouth, man.
But some people actually don't know it though. You know that, yeah? Like as in that, well, they probably find it the hard way down the line, you know, by the time that like, you know, because if like, let's just say you're out and then after one of your boys mentioning your girl and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But then you're the one that actively like sort of like allowed her to be out there like that, you know? They sort of find out the hard way that they're like sort of like a Dayouth, but like we're knowledgeable enough to know that like, I guess to a certain degree, like if she's carrying herself in a certain way online, it's not good for you regardless, you know?
Let's be honest here, yeah? There's, I think there's a fine line between beneficial content and content that's not beneficial, and it's something that we would consider ourselves to say, nah, no chance, I will never ever go for a girl like this.
Yeah.
If the brand is solely built around the beauty of the girl and accentuating that and showing that to the world, I think quite obviously that all four of us here would all say the same thing. That's a massive no-go for us. Yeah? Even if she has 10K followers. Because that's when you're kind of teetering on the youth status.
Do you reckon? Yeah, go finish. Sorry.
Like, yeah, bro, if her whole account is her, how beautiful she is, and the world agreeing with her, and she's basically making money or earning a living off of how she looks or what assets she has, then yeah, bro, no, we're not. I don't want to talk for everyone here, but I think we're all on the same page, right?
It doesn't seem like Willie is.
No. Like as Sue said, we're all on the same page, and you had to like affirm.
Well, no, I have to affirm it. I can't talk for everyone, but I believe that we all. I believe that we're all in the same on the same
It's
page.
quite similar, yeah.
Yeah. Then there's the boys from Searching Souls. They're a good example. They spread beneficial knowledge, but sometimes they don't actually require their faces in the videos. Sometimes, bro, the beautiful thing about the internet is the algorithm carries anything, bro. Your face doesn't actually need to be on it. Even us, bro. Sometimes I actually look at myself and I go, "What am I doing on the internet?" Cause do you know what I mean? So when I look at females who want to do khair, and they know that the best way to spread as much khair as possible would be through these avenues, through social media, through TikTok, and so on and so forth, and it's not really involving their face too much. You know, I know some girls do something well. They put the niqab on, even if they don't wear it in day-to-day life. They wear it in the content that they put out there because they understand the temptation that they're putting out there by showing their face. Because, bro, men are weird, man. Yeah, men fall in love with anything. Men will fall in love with anything, bro. They got some wild stuff on the internet, bro, that they're into. But I'm gonna just leave that there and just say, like, there's ways of doing it that won't be problematic, in my books at least. But there's a fine line. There's a massive fine line there. So I would look, if you ask my preference, I would prefer not to have a public account, or her be known for her social media.
Yeah. It's interesting because people probably listen to this thinking like, oh, you guys are on the internet and like you don't want someone on the internet.
Yeah, it sounds hypocritical.
So for us, it's more so just a like opportunity in general to like reflect on how we are as like in our presence on social media and the internet.
Can I give another analogy?
See.
Yeah?
Go.
Yeah? All right, boom. Anyway, you're like 2 years into your marriage or something like that, okay? Yeah. And you're doing some sort of social media endeavor, whether it's a podcast or now you got a YouTube channel, or you've blown up on TikTok. Let's just say something along those lines, yeah? And then after she presents you with the idea of, hey, I'm not trying to I don't want you on the internet anymore, your face. What are you guys saying? Ashraf?
Obviously, it depends, like what we said about what you're known for, but it's an important discussion to have.
But she says to you also on top of that, it's like, but you don't want me on the internet too, so why are you on the internet?
Are you saying she changed her mind after 2 years?
Yeah, let's hypothetically, yeah. She didn't change her mind, but she's starting to feel like, hey, I don't feel easy about this. And let's just say you sort of established, which we sort of said in that previous conversation, that we don't want whatever on the internet. And she says to you, hey, like she's starting to realize like you're popping off on this, that, or like you're getting a bit of attention.
Too much.
Bang.
Yeah.
Ashraf, you're not allowed on the internet anymore. Or Zuzu. Boom. Sus. Bang.
That's a good question for Ashraf. He's currently married, so
obviously it depends on what you're posting. You know, how much do you make your livelihood from social media, or is it just a hobby on the side? Because if it's livelihood, that's a very different thing. If your goal is to start a business or whatever, maybe build a personal brand, and it's all through social media, that's a big thing to have. But if your wife's, it's really uncomfortable with her, it's worth having that conversation and maybe figuring out why, you know. But it's not obviously like just that easy to just drop it. If it's important to you, just have that conversation.
Okay,
and then
let's just say it is important to you and she gives you a reasonable reason.
Like she's adamant and she goes...
She's adamant in the way that she feels, but she's not giving you like some sort of ultimatum or whatever, like that you have to either choose one between the two. Yeah? In a way she technically is. Then yeah.
Well, it's me or the social media account?
Nah, she hasn't said that. If she says
Look,
that, you know what we're going for.
For me, it's probably a thing where I'd be like, okay, let's do if I'm not making my living off it, it's like, okay, let's do a trial run. For example, I'll delete my social media for a couple months and see if her opinion changes. Is it what you want, you know? Is it people, like you said, about like community opinion? Why, maybe it's a friend saying, oh, your husband's always, on my TikTok. You have the conversation, man. You know, if it's that important to the mother of your children, you should have the convo.
Chang. I rate the way that you raise their ranks as well. You know, if she's not just.
I'm just saying, like, you're gonna be with the rest of
your
your life. Like social media, there's other ways to benefit people. You just have the conversation. You try things. 3 months off social media isn't gonna kill you. You know, if it's your livelihood, it's a different discussion.
Yeah.
It's how you make your money. If it's just I make nice videos.
I make what? Just fair income podcast.
Well, you can maybe do what House said, figure out ways to not show your face. Then it's not that deep, and then
Visual audio podcast only.
Yeah, you can still get your point across.
Yeah.
Your audio podcast.
Yeah, true.
We'll start blurring Ashraf.
I can ask the main question the guy behind the camera wants to hear. Inshallah. So for you unmarried males that inshallah are going to be looking to get married, often something that happens because we're in the same community, same suburb, we reach out to people and we say, what do you think of this person? What do you think of that person? Would you guys marry someone who one of your friends was interested in and maybe got rejected by or tried to get to know for a couple of weeks and it didn't work out? Like, with that kind of thing. What's your guys' opinion on that?
The bro code, huh? They talking about?
Yeah,
Basically.
pretty much. But maybe it was a year ago, maybe it was 2, maybe she rejected him, maybe he's still interested in her. What's the mindset you guys have?
It's plenty of fish in the sea.
So you wouldn't?
I'll just ask him, are you comfortable with it? If he says, no, I'm not comfortable.
Why you laugh?
Nah, iron's a real thing, bro. Yeah, iron's a real thing,
Big
guys.
time.
Like, to be honest with you, unless this girl's Aisha radhiyallahu anha, bro, I'm not going to be making no risks or taking no risks like that when there's plenty of women to speak to, plenty of other women to kind of get to know.
What happens if she's like a baddie and then like she has everything? Like she has deen and like she's got good quality and all that kind of stuff. Would you just allow it just for the sake that it was your mate?
See, this is the thing. How close am I with the guy, number one?
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
Number one, that's very important. If I don't know this guy anything or I'm not really tight with him and his opinion really doesn't matter to me, then it's like, okay, I'll make that exception. Because and also we all know there's one guy that always overdoes everything, yeah? We know a guy that will always create some sort of, because in his head he's told himself a story that he's been with this girl, and that you're
manifests.
You know what I mean?
Basically, yeah.
So the situation's very like hypotheticals are very difficult.
It depends.
You
Yeah.
guys are putting us in a
Okay,
situation.
let's flip it the other way around. Let's just say, like it's the other way around. Like you're chatting to someone for like a little bit. Let's say the scenario is like 2 weeks or something. Yeah. Also, whatever. And then one of your boys came in. Yeah. When I say one of your boys, you can define that like loosely, like how tight you are, whatever. You can choose that. Would you feel a type of way if he chatted to or he was moving to your girl?
Well, while you're talking to her.
Nah, you're gone. Like you moved on from her.
So
Yeah, move, bro. That's all yours. Have fun, cuz.
Yeah.
It's true. If you stopped
I don't know
for
no
whatever reason, like she, didn't meet or you guys didn't get along, what can you do? Khalas.
yeah,
I don't know.
you have no grounds to really be.
No, but some
upset with
people,
the
it's just they have some sort of attachment, whatever.
Yeah,
She's
it's
like,
true.
you know what I mean? And it's like, I can't have her, then like,
Well,
No one can.
some people
Yeah.
like when yeah, like some people when they kind of get a hint that she's not interested, but then they keep trying, they keep waiting, kind of thing. Yeah, so because that can
I
happen.
say you got past that. Like you found out like there's a good couple of good, like you're talking to her for a little bit, like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah,
People gotta grow up sometimes, bro. Well,
Yeah,
that kind
honestly.
of stuff is like
Okay, then
high school.
then for that same reason, then let's just say then why wouldn't you then go move to that girl? Do you get what I mean? Like the reverse psychology of that same question. If you don't mind, then why is it a problem then if you go talk to that girl?
Because we can't put our expectations on other people. We don't live our lives all the same. And not everyone is raised the same as us, and not everyone has the same mentality as us.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got to take that into perspective, you got to look at, okay, maybe this guy would take offense to it, even though I don't understand why, but he would. Then you might want to consider maybe giving him the nudge.
Let's say you're close with each other though.
Yeah.
And like let's say you've had a conversation.
and you understand him.
Let's say you've had a conversation with him. He says, "Bro, I couldn't care less. Like she was just a 2 week thing. There was no hypotheticals, nothing."
Then you do your thing, guys.
You wouldn't mind?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't mind as well. The main thing is like speaking to the guy.
Okay.
and
So let's say you're interested in her that bad that you would go like ask him.
Look, I would probably he I don't want to say rejected, but she wasn't interested in him, like that kind of thing. Yeah, so like you would have to just ask him in terms of why it didn't work out or like what happened. It's a bit awkward though.
How about the girl in all
thinking
this?
about it
Maybe
now.
she doesn't want you either, cuz.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
Double
true.
rejection.
Imagine
Two mates.
that.
After all that, yeah.
Bro, yeah, you know what?
And he's
man,
like, oh, and then it's like, yeah, I can actually ask her now. Then
like,
nothing.
cuz, go on,
Yeah.
bro.
It's
Like,
true.
Dead group.
Yeah. And then your two mates together, both rejected.
Yeah.
Nah. I got another one because so there's actually a thing, it's more of a question because we're at the Sunagai event, yeah. We did a live show and stuff. And I saw some brothers, like I don't see them often, people, you know, they're a bit awkward with the icebreakers and that when you see them. But like people bring it.
Shade.
What?
Name and shame.
It's
No, it's just old
Tell him
mates.
you didn't
Yeah.
work on
It's
your
old mates.
conversation game.
It's not that deep, bro. But it's more of like people saying like, yeah, like this event's good, man. Like we need more of these events. Like, and they start saying it in terms of like, I can't meet people really because there's not many events or there's not many things happening in general. So in terms of like opportunities to meet people, do you guys believe this is true? In terms of like,
Why was
how-
that guy awkward somehow? You said he's awkward.
I didn't say one guy. I said many.
How they're awkward saying they need more events. Like how they say
No,
how
I'm saying starting conversations.
oh with that statement.
No, before that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Some people can be very, very awkward starting conversations.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
We should do like a how to start a
Yeah,
conversation.
we do a
segment.
short course, yeah.
so what are you talking about?
So just like because people, there's some people obviously been looking longer than others, yeah. You know, trying to get married, trying to meet someone,
Yeah.
and people would use the I'd like to say excuse that maybe there isn't enough opportunities to meet people, or like it's so hard to meet someone these days because everyone's just doing their own thing. There's not many events happening. The community is not as tight as it used to be in terms of like how active it is. Do you think this is true? Or
I ask them when they have the opportunity and it's there, do they do it?
depends if there is opportunities. Do you
Bro,
think there is?
There's plenty of opportunities, bro. You know what the problem is? A lot of people, yeah, they think that in their head, wallah, the only time is when everything kind of lines up and the world
Red carpet.
symmetry kind of just, you know, and it doesn't work like that, cuz. And a lot of people aren't real with themselves about their capability to walk up to a person at a random time and have that conversation if they're interested. Bro, these people there, they need to actually be realistic with themselves and go, even if I was to see a girl at an event, I wouldn't approach her. Yeah?
Mm.
So why don't you go to a place like, for example, Abu Hamza does some very good stuff where he does like that not dating, the halal dating kind of thing. Go to there, bro. Go talk to women through that. You know what I mean? As you like to say, get your minutes in at least. You know? Get used to talking to girls so that when you meet a girl,
Yeah.
what's it called? Or if not, if you find the girl there, perfect, beautiful, bang. Everybody's there on the same thing. And then you found someone there and khalas, that's it. There's no questions in between. But you got to be realistic, bro. Like, for example, I don't have an issue walking up to somebody if I'm interested in them and talking to them outright.
Yes, sir.
Is that because
Bro.
you can just talk about MCCA when you're in the first start or t-shirt?
You need financial
You
advice.
got a black mark next to your name, cuz.
Because if you have the t-shirt on, bro, you can be like, "Here, want the pamphlet?"
I can't
take
do
it.
that.
Uh,
See, this is the thing for me. I
Just
have
get a
a
volunteer.
philosophy.
Do you need
I don't.
Are you financially literate?
I don't shit where I eat. That's it. That's a policy that I live by.
Mm.
I will never ever have an MCCA top and maneuver to women or have any other extracurricular activity.
Yeah.
in the name of professionality?
Yeah, because
Professionalism.
I believe in myself. Yeah, I believe myself to be a bit of a professional.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
and beyond that as well, if something backfires, they're gonna say, okay, that guy from that place tried to do A, B, and C, and then that could kind of affect my professional life. So why would I mix my personal and professional? There's no need.
True.
If you say, for example, you found a girl that you liked, you saw her at an event, you know, people that were around her, you talk to somebody else, you tell them, hey, look, that girl that you're with, do you know any information about her? And then you kind of go from there. Problem is, everybody has such an ego that they don't have the moxie to ask. You know what I mean? Go around and, like, nudge people and say, like, hey, like, I'm interested in that girl. Do you know if she's married? Do you know if she's interested, if she's looking, da-da-da. Bro, there's nothing wrong with it. There's actually literally nothing wrong with it. You're not actually asking the girl to marry you on the spot. You haven't. You're not actually saying, I'm in love with this girl and I can't live without her. I need her number. Please help me out. Otherwise, I'm going to die. I'm going to kill myself. But you're like, look, I'm interested in getting to know her. I like what I saw. Do you have any information for me? And if you do, bro, you maneuver. Go. Do it. Bro, I don't understand that. Bro, people build up in their head too highly either their own position in the world, and they believe that they're not allowed to be rejected in front of people because everyone's gonna keep a track of it, bro. Everyone gets rejected, bro. Everyone gets rejected.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Have you guys been rejected? Yeah, good. I think every man should be rejected.
So what's your take on this? What's your
No, I think I could have not said it better than Sus Walai. He said it very, very well. And get your minutes in. If those minutes lead to a rejection,
So do you think there are plenty of opportunities? Like
100%, bro. It's like it's not your whole soul's purpose, like your worldly life purpose, like just to like find a girl, cuff her, and then you're no less of a man if you don't like, you know what I mean? There is going to be that one person like one day down the line for you. It's like there's no need to rush, you know?
I think like maybe Ali's question was going in a different way, where there was people making the statement like, I can't find, the only place to find people is at these events. And maybe that's because a lot of people don't want to meet people on social media, don't want to meet people through apps, don't want to meet people through, you know. So the only time, like there's a lot of sisters, you know, and even brothers that they don't go out very frequently. They're not part of any community groups and stuff like that. So when Sunnah guy or this person comes from overseas every couple months, they only go there. And it's the only time they actually do get to meet people, which is why they're like, if this was once a month, massive events, 1,000 people, I can, you know, see more sisters that don't come out. You know, that someone's from the west, someone's from the north, southeast. You don't really see each other at events, like your weekly halakha. You know, so that's where some people like to meet there. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. To be honest, I'd like more big events. I think it's a good way for more of the community to, you know, intermingle. And a lot of young guys can get married there. But most of the time, they don't take that step, like Suhail said. They just saw a sister, don't do anything. And especially if events are that infrequent, you got to man up and, you know, take that step.
If you go there for that reason, it's a bit of a...
MSA vibe.
Yeah, the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
For me, that's a bit of a sticky one, bro. Like, there's no way that you go to an event specifically that's supposed to teach you something about the deen, and then you...
halakha's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, bro, your main purpose was to learn something about the deen, but you've replaced it with finding a girl to talk to for marriage. Like, I get it if it's a side quest or it's a
Or it
bonus
just happened, yeah.
or rocking up, calm, like, no worries. But, like,
Yeah.
don't actually go to these events to get married, bro. Like, do your thing, because there's other places, there's other venues, there's
Like
I was saying, go to Abu Hamzi's dating thing, bro.
like the matchmaking events and stuff.
Yeah, bro. Like,
There's a
those
lot
things
of
are
those, yeah.
specifically made for that, bro. Like, if you're,
Sure.
bro, just be honest with yourself, because you're not going to approach the girl at the event. You're not going to.
That's true. Hey, on the matchmaking thing, I thought of a crazy question. Yeah? It might not actually be crazy, but like, I want to ask you guys. Would you guys use Muzz Hinge them once to go find like...
Nah, hell no.
No?
Oh, I've heard some more stories of that place, bro.
Okay, but Muzz, not Hinge.
Both.
Muzz,
But
one...
what's Hinge anyway? Isn't Hinge non-Muslim?
Hinge is
the voice recording gods?
is the
No.
long form of Tinder.
What do you mean?
Long, it's a halal one, like, you know, there's like minda.
What do you mean long?
It's halal if you make it halal. Yeah, let's just say
So
that.
no. So
No,
It's not for
The
Muslims.
dating apps, you
It's not
said
only for
dating
It's a
apps.
dating app in
the
general.
halal
you get what I
dating
mean?
apps. Would you use that?
People have got married off of like
I know
the
lots of
halal
people that
manner.
have.
Same.
You get what I mean? But there's also the other side to it as well. Obviously, Tinder is known for like a one night stand. You know what I mean? So like if you're trying to find a relationship, you can find it on Hinge. If you want to be completely halal, you go to Muzz. Regardless, would you use a dating app? Yeah, for like marriage.
There's too many opportunities in the real world to actually get married.
This
True.
is your ideal true man that knows his value. Okay.
Mzalama.
Yeah.
I love the hype, bro.
No, seriously.
Keep giving it to me.
There's nothing wrong with, by the way, if you go find it. Would you?
I wouldn't.
Come on, Ali,
not
just-
recommend it to
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
But personally, I wouldn't. I think just having like a public presence, I wouldn't put my details and my profile up. So
Delve
easy
into
to
that
access.
Delve into that a little bit.
It's a weird one because I feel like having conversations online in general, actually, let's say whether I have a presence or not online, having conversations and then people can find out, you know, who you know, and maybe if you say one wrong thing, that can really stuff you over.
Okay, I get you.
Do you get what I mean?
You know what the thing is, though? If you go into it with the wrong intentions, it'll come out. So if you start speaking, flirting, you know, you're doing bits on those apps, and then you get caught, then it's a different ball game. But if you went in there with a clear directive, I want to get married or whatever it is, nobody can hold what you're saying on those apps against you. And if they do, then they're scumbags. I'm sorry. Anybody who has a private conversation with another person, takes screenshots and posts it,
Yeah,
you have to be a scumbag.
Yeah,
bro.
you're the lowest.
Yeah,
You have to be a
true.
scumbag, bro.
Yeah, it's
Wallahi. And that person is probably good because, if anything, it's probably better for you because you understand who the person is. And then beyond that as well, the people who are actually seeing it are going to think the same. The people within her echo chamber or his echo chamber are going to think the same and go, oh, you exposed him. But the people that actually have half a brain are going to be like, bro, that's a scumbag move.
Especially the messages, because like you said, if for example, if I was on it and I had the right intentions, people see the screenshots like, you're not doing anything wrong. So why are you screenshotting it kind of
So
thing? Yeah,
you don't,
that's a good point.
bro, it's Allah's watching us 24/7, cuz. What can you say in those situations and what can't you say in those situations? And then obviously teeter on the right path, bro, and nothing can be held against you. And if you're trying to do something in life, you know, the way there's always that stuff about, you know, people always making fun of the people that try. Bro, if you're trying, no one can hold it against you.
Yeah.
Facts.
I do feel like it can be an escape for not trying the real life options. Like you said, like people approaching like in the best way possible with good intentions. People don't do that as often these days. And that becomes an escape where it's like, I'll just take the easier route of just messaging online, putting my name out. Like, because at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with it. I know people personally that have got married from these platforms, so it's actually legit. But I feel like it should be a second option type of thing. Where it's
Or
like
last resort.
Last resort, exactly. Actually,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
actually a better one. Like you actually go out into the world, into your community, and then you speak to people you know, saying, you know, your intentions, blah, blah, blah. And then if things don't happen, then it's like last resort.
I agree.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people as well, like they make fun of, you know, Muzzmatch and that. And I can kind of even see the people I know that did get married off Muzzmatch. I don't know if it was Muzzmatch, but one of them. And when they brought it up the first time, they said it in a way where it's like they weren't sure how I was going to react because of how people have reacted in the past of these platforms.
But at the end of the day, you know those people that brought up to you, do you ever look at them different because they got... See, that's the funny thing.
Yeah.
No one actually cares about
They're
anyone
still
else.
happily married, yeah.
But everyone's life moves on.
Sure.
I'm going to be like, far out, you know, that guy got married off Muzzmatch.
You know, part of it is because people think there's like some sort of like fairy tale way of trying to meet you like your person.
You need to meet
You know
you
what I mean? Like the ideal one the movie tries to sell you is like your high school lovers, whatever, that you grew a life together, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Or you randomly met her, like I said before when we talking about like the traveling. Yeah. Like you just randomly met her while you're traveling and then boom, you end up finding her from the same city, whatever. It's just some sort of like magical, like...
It's called a meet cute.
Say again?
Meet cute.
Meet cute.
Yeah, like where you meet. It's from some rom-com. That's it. Asian girl. That's the notes to the people. Zainab used to watch it. Yes,
Explain
I
it.
love you or something.
Meet
Oh,
cute.
the
Yeah,
show.
meet cute. It's a... Like
I didn't
where
watch
you
that.
meet, like, it's like, is it cute? Like how you met and stuff. Like,
Meet
Oh,
no, I think cute. I just
The
cute.
letter Q.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that is.
Either
No,
way, yeah. So part of that...
Such a good, like,
So part of that, you know what I mean? They put a...
meet
like
cute. It's cute.
It's cute.
Yeah, how you met. It's from that movie.
That's so lame, bro.
Okay. Can I finish my point? Can I finish my
That's
point?
such a millennial.
P.S. I love you. No, it's not that.
Yeah, anyways,
Anyway, as I was saying, yeah. So with that, like that meet cute or whatever, where you meet that person or whatever, they try and make it seem like it's got to be some sort of fantasy or whatever. And in a way, it sort of like, I think people feel like it touches on their ego a little bit. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, because you did it, now whenever people ask, oh, so how did you and your missus meet? You know what I mean? Or how do you and your partner meet or something along those
I
lines?
think also with that, which is very similar, is like I've had to catch myself out a few times, to be honest. Like,
Whoa, with what?
yeah, I'm gonna explain.
Okay.
This guy's getting jump in the gun, bro. So like there'll be scenarios where like, of course, you see a potential. It's like, okay, like I can maybe approach or like speak to someone that I know that might know this person, but then you think, oh, like this sounds bad, but it's like the grass is green on the other side. Like there's
real.
probably a better option. If that sounds pretty bad, but it's real, because especially these days, social media, you can access people's profiles. You see everyone. We're so like interconnected that you feel like you will see the next person that could be like more good looking. But then I feel like no matter who you marry, like let's say it's a 10 out of 10 in your eyes, at the end of the day, like in the future, it's going to become normal anyway, because you're seeing this person every single day.
So in a way, then technically, like the less that you're exposed to the person prior to your, like whatever, coffin or whatever,
Yeah.
is kind of a good thing then.
Yeah, exactly. I think
You know,
so. I think so.
It
as
gives
well.
you less time to like I guess, pondering over the things that are like non-negotiable or whatever. But then you start finding out the smaller, finite details.
Yeah, I think as well. Yeah, exactly. When you maybe, you know, if you took the communication the wrong way, like before pre-marriage, and then you find out too much, and then you've been speaking for like, I don't know, let's say 6 months, 12 months, and then because you're doing it the wrong way, and then you're finding wrong things about them, and then it becomes a whole problem, like that kind of thing. It's like you shouldn't be doing that.
This guy here, that's why I grabbed it.
BQ?
Handbook of a Healthy Muslim Marriage. Sheikh Abdurrahman ibn Yusuf Manjera.
Give us a summary.
He said max 6 months. Getting to know someone before you get married. Yeah, which is why I did that.
Max 6 months.
6 months. Like how long? You don't need to ask her questions for 12 months, 2 years.
How much can you find out?
Yeah, so you already know. Khalas, you know enough. He said 6 months. Max 6 months.
6 months is in wrap it up and get married? Or
yeah, like for example, the first time you go to the house and like you say you're interested in someone, the dad goes come over and meet them first day. 6 months from that, you should be trying to get married, get out of the house, you know, together. Because why, you're going to ask questions for 3 years? You know, what's your favorite color? Something?
I know a lot of people that talk for 2 months and then just go, khalas, this is wrap it up. Or, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it depends. If you ask all the right questions, if you're, for example, you don't have too many different questions, but the thing is with 2 months is sometimes you're in the honeymoon phase for all of it. So the first month is honeymoon, the next month is wedding plans. You don't actually get to know her in maybe a lot of different environments, but when it's a bit 3-4 months, you can see her with your family, her cousins, her this and that, and you get a bit more experience.
Oh, Sunny Bill, by the way, you know that, yeah?
He said 2 months?
He said 2 months.
Damn, 2 months.
Yeah, everyone's different.
Sunny Bill, yeah?
Yeah.
What girl's going to say no to him?
Yeah, bad.
Yeah, and it depends on what you want, man, you know? But 2 to 6 months, I'd say. You don't want to delay it.
Yeah.
It's just what and it depends on the frequency. Some people, when they get to know someone, they see them 2-3 times a week. You know, they live around the corner and that's how frequent they see them. Some people, it's once a week, once a fortnight. So it's very different. So maybe it's more about how often you actually meet them and see them.
If this episode makes it out online, then Sus.
Like, comment and subscribe. Hello, I forgot. Sorry. My head's so all over the place. Listen, don't take anything to heart that's been said on this podcast. These are all opinions. Take everything for a grain of salt. And yeah, live your life. Assalamu alaikum.